Hello everybody, this is another Hot Wheels Collector video. Today we are looking at the 2020 Corvette C8 from the Hot Wheels 2022 mainline. This was a super treasure hunt last year in the E case, and this is where this one debuted. It was also a carryover into the next case as well. That's obviously how Hot Wheels cases work. This is a very nice car, and as you can see it's done in blue, and that colour just suits this car amazingly. But anyways, let me give you some facts before we get into the showcase of this car. So in real life, this car has a 6.2 litre V8 engine, which is capable of producing 490 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. That converts to about 639 newton meters of torque. This car also has a 0 to 60 in just 2.8 seconds, very impressive. And also has a top speed of 194 miles per hour, once again, very impressive. This car is rear-wheel drive, as with most Corvettes. In fact, I think all the Corvettes have had a rear-wheel drive drivetrain, so this one keeps up that trend. I know a lot of people like that about this car. It just doesn't try to change anything. It continues to be a Corvette. And this base model, so when it was new, cost about $60,000, which actually isn't too much. It's about £47,000, which is not bad for a muscle or sports car. This is a big argument. Is this a muscle car? Is this truly a muscle car? Or is this more of a sports car? I think it's more of a sports car in my opinion. It doesn't quite, it doesn't quite meet the criteria for a muscle car for me, but I'm not entirely sure about you. But I would class this more as a sports car than a muscle car. Something about it, I don't know, maybe it's kind of the look of it. But yeah, I would class this as a sports car. There you go. But there you go, that's the facts about this car. Now let's get into the actual showcase of the Hot Wheels model. Alright, so kicking off this showcase then, we'll start off with the wheel choice. So these are the 5-star spoke wheels, which have been done in chrome. Very nice, and suit this car very nicely. I think it makes it look a lot more factory fresh. I'm pretty sure this was actually featured in the Factory Fresh mini-series of 2022. So it really does fit the description of factory fresh, I think. There's no tamper work on the side of this car, unfortunately, but I will mention that this car does have wing mirrors cast into the metal. Super nice and way more realistic than if they hadn't done that. You can also see, obviously, the vents have actually been done in the metal casting as well. You can see that side vent there. Hopefully you can see it anyways. And that's really it for the side of this car. Not a whole lot going on. The windows are wound up and the interior is done in black plastic. The base plastic is also black. Speaking of the base plastic, we'll move along to the front, and you can see the front splitter is created using that black base plastic. Acts as a very nice colour split, and I think it's trying to mimic maybe carbon fibre or a carbon fibre look. But it does look very nice. You can also see there's no tampos on the front bumper, unfortunately, but the vents have been carved out, so you could add your own details by, painting them or using the Sharpie. That paint that you would use is acrylic paint, and you can obviously add your own details doing that. As for the actual tampos on the front of this car though, there is some tampos on the hood. So you can see the headlights have been done in a realistic look, and you can also see the Corvette badge has also been done in a very realistic look, and that is accurate to the real life badge. Anyways, that's really it for the front of this car. I will mention that this car does feature windshield wipers, which are in the plastic, which is made to represent the glass on this car. Very nice. A nice little bit of detail there, or extra detail I should say. This side is the same as the previous side, so I'm not going to bore you on this one, but you can see there is the fuel filler cap, or I'm pretty sure that's what that's meant to be. It's very small on this casting, interestingly, but there you go. You can obviously pause the video, as I've said, to have a look at this in more detail if you're looking for something specific. Anyways, moving on to the rear of the car, there's a lot of detail here. Hopefully you can see there's a bit of glare. There we go, got rid of that. So you can see there's the rear lights, which have been done in a realistic tampo, and you can also see the Corvette badge, which has been done in a silver tampo as well. You can also see there are some lower vents, which have also been put into the metal casting. You can also see the diffuser as well as the exhaust are created using the black base plastic. All of that is very nice, and I think it just looks extra realistic. You can also see the rear window has been done, and that looks very realistic too. It is actually textured. You can see there's almost some like vents or some indents on that window, which is accurate to the real life model once again. As for the actual top, it is slightly textured, but there's not really a whole lot going on, and there is no tamper work on the roof of this car. One final thing I will mention is this car does have a small little ducktail spoiler, which in real life it also does have. Very nice there. I love the fact that they keep this thing looking very realistic, and it's a very nice new casting for 2022. So yes, this was a new casting for last year, and I think it's an absolutely awesome one. But there you go, that's the showcase of this car. Now I think it's time to get into the review and my final thoughts on this one. Alright, so now it's time for my final thoughts and review of this car. I think it's done very nicely, and it really is accurate to the real life model. I love the colour choice on this one. I did fail to mention, but this is done in a metallic blue. It's not super metallic, but it is a metallic colour. It is not just a glossy blue. And honestly, it just suits the car amazingly. It really does, and I don't really think there'll be any better colour variants of this one in the future, but who knows, maybe they'll surprise me. But there you go, I really do think this one's awesome. So that leads me on to my final score out of 10. What am I give this car out of 10? I'm going to give this car a solid 8 out of 10, I think. It's quite difficult to choose that score. I've been given a lot of 8 out of 10s recently. But anyways, you can see the front grille is not tampered. That is one detail that is missing, and that is going to knock that down severely for me. I think it's one of the key parts of this car, to be entirely honest. And without that, I just think it looks a little bit incomplete. And it doesn't quite look as realistic as maybe we would have hoped. But there you go. I do think it's a great one still, and remember, anything over 7 is something that I highly recommend you pick up if you do see this one. You probably won't see this in many shops nowadays, because obviously this was from last year and the time of this one being around in stores has kind of gone and passed by. But if you do, for some reason, make sure you grab it. It's a really nice addition, and I'm pretty sure you'll be happy to have it in your collection. But anyways, that's really it for this video. So if you enjoyed, make sure you like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Remember, you can also press that notification bell so you do not miss any new uploads. Remember, you can also share this video with any friends, family, or in any groups who may be interested. But remember, don't feel pressured if you don't feel like you have anybody who may be interested in this video. You watching this video all the way to the end and making it all the way to this point means so much to me, and I really do thank you for getting here to the end. Anyways, that's really it for this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye, everyone.